Welcome to the post-WrestleMania edition of Post to Post. It's only a two-person special today with me, the Weatherman himself, and I guess we'll call him my co-host for the day, one half of the Brothers of Discussion, Will. How you doing, Will?
We doing all right, man. Making it through. Grayson and John are indisposed and can't make it in tonight, so we're carrying on the good fight.
We're going to carry the weight the best we can.
Yes, I mean, those are big shoes to fill. They're both the energy while we're the other ones.
Well, what I can say is we didn't have a terrible WrestleMania, but we didn't have a great WrestleMania either.
I have to agree. For a two-night affair, they did an all right job. Night one was far superior to night two. And if I were to give it some sort of full rundown, probably I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I enjoyed the two-day format because it was more, it flowed better and it wasn't so compacted and long.
Agreed. WrestleMania having 2 nights definitely spread it out. It wasn't such a slog to get through. Breaking it up into 2 3-hour events was much, much better. It does make
and
it
no
seem,
pre-shows.
Yes, it does make it seem like a grander show that way too. You know, it gives it a little more oomph.
And boy, are they proud of their augmented reality.
Oh, God, I hate that shit. I'm so glad that...
I know we've said it for weeks upon end how much we hate it, but they were really proud of it this weekend.
I know. I can't speak for the other two, but I know that you and I, we hate the shit out of it. Like, there's a time and a place. Use it every once in a while. But,
it makes it too phony.
Time. Some of the ways they use it definitely... it makes me think of the shark from fucking Back to the Future 2.
They have that other cam. I call it the 2K cam. If you notice, like when they get a close-up of them coming in the ring, like the backgrounds, I call it the super focus camera too.
Oh yeah, they've got
and
that.
It's blurry background. They're walking like, I don't know. I guess it's like a really high frame per second.
It is. It's almost like a high-speed camera, just with how many frames per second it captures. But it is a rough watch, in my opinion. It makes things look so real, they look fake. It almost gets to the point of like the uncanny valley. You know what I mean?
It looks like the 2K game.
A little bit. It really does. My other big favorite thing from the night, and I wonder if you noticed it. I know the rest of the internet noticed it. Damn, did Hogan get booed a lot.
Yes, and they tried to cover it.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, depending on where you were in the arena, apparently those boos were loud.
Yep. It was obvious they were piping crowd noise in all night, and there were some of them boos were escaping through onto the Peacock feed.
Yep. I watched biggest standout for me, just to jump ahead a little bit, was right at the end of the Triple Threat main event night 2, as far as I go. All of the fucking crowd boos after that. I mean, I don't think there was a single fucking cheer. It was all boos.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least he was a heel this time.
Yeah. At least there was that. But I was really hoping for a different finish. But we'll talk about that a bit later.
But I was right about one thing.
What was that?
Walter and Ciampa was the match of the whole week.
Oh, good God. I still haven't had a chance to watch Stand and Deliver yet, so you'll have to kind of carry our asses on that one, or at least partially. I can go over the match list and then go over our respective percentages across the board, but yeah, I did not get to take a peep at that one. But all things considered, we did a damn good job on NXT across the board. WrestleMania, not so much. But NXT, surprisingly good.
And the thing about it is, with WWE, they're usually so predictable. WrestleMania, they kind of threw a, what's the term I'm looking for? They kind of threw a
curveball
on us.
Yeah, they swerved us a little bit with WrestleMania. Now, if I were to go through it, now the only two things I see that we didn't predict on last week were the Pete Dunne and Kushida match. I don't think it was announced at the time. And the pre-show match for Night 2, which was Killian Dane and Drake Maverick against Breezango. So there's that. I know the Zoe Stark and Toni Storm match was a pre-show match for Night 1, but we did predict on that one. So I'll consider it a main show match for the fact that we knew about it and we were able to talk about it. So I'm going to go with the 5 matches that we chose. I'm not going to count the 6th one just because it doesn't exist for us because we didn't know about it. So for Night 1, out of the 5 matches, John was 4 for 5. Grayson was 2 for 5. I was 3 for 5. And you were 3 for 5 as well. So our big things is in the Zoe Stark and Toni Storm match, everyone but Grayson called for Zoe to win, and she did. The Giant Rumble, the Eliminator match, the Gauntlet, none of us got it right because it wound up being Bronson Reed. The MSK 6-man tag match, MSK won. So we all got that right because we all chose MSK. Walter and Ciampa, which was the match of matches. We all called Walter to win just because Walter is hella over. And, I mean, Ciampa, God love him, is basically there because they know he's so good. Even when he loses, he still looks good and makes the other person look even better. So if you take someone that already looks good like Walter and put him with Ciampa, it's gold. It's straight up pure gold. Go ahead, make some rings out of it, make some money. It's jewelry time, that kind of gold.
Well, the one thing I'm going to say about Walter, he needs to stay far away from the main roster.
Oh, God. The only thing that can fuck Walter up is going to the main roster. They'll Steven Regal him in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And that will be terrible.
And honestly, if he... To me, I think we said this last week, he needs to get away from WWE once his contract's up.
It'd probably be for the best because you know that if he sticks around, they're going to try and move him up to the main roster, and it's just going to be he'll be lost in the shuffle.
Keep Vince away from him.
Yeah, his old Brit style just isn't going to last long on there.
Like, you know, if NXT could get rid of the writers, you'd have a superior program.
I mean, all things considered, it's still the superior WWE program. But yeah, you aren't wrong. And then the last match of the night we went over, Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. Well, most of us chose Io, but John got it right with Raquel. So there was Night 1.
Let's talk about Night 2. Somebody was perfect.
Yep, Night 2. I'm going to start, save the best for last. Night 2, John, again, 4 out of 5. Solid showing. 80% overall for the 2 nights, which is a damn fine showing in prediction rankings. For the 10 matches we predicted on because we didn't know about the Breezango tag match, so we didn't predict on that. Then Grayson got 3 out of 5, so that bumped him up to 50% for the 2 nights, which still isn't bad. If you're looking at baseball, that's a hell of an average. Myself, I got 2 out of 5, so with that 3 of 5 from Night 1, that puts me at 50% as well. And then, goddamn, if you didn't pull out the fucking no-hitter, you got fucking everything right for Night 2. You called every damn one of them. The only person to
said,
call Escobar.
The quote said, "Who's the man? Who's the man?"
If we go with night 2 rankings, you. If we go with overall, you're tied with John.
I'll take that, considering most of my picks are usually shit. So I'm gonna ride this. I'm gonna ride this train as long as I can.
I remember when John broke his streak of wrong answers way back in the West days, and you're more than allowed to. So you and John are in good company with one another, being the 80% boys for NXT. So that's a solid outing. Good stuff. So next, all of us got the Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart match. All of us called that one correct. I mean, other than that, what was it? Was it Candice LeRae who was having all the malfunctions, or is that someone else? No, it was at WrestleMania, so I'm getting it mixed up. Never mind. So, answering my own question, looking at information. The other match, let's see, Gargano versus versus Bronson Reed. I'm the only one that really got it wrong. So, there's that. And then, your favorite night of the match, or match of the night of the match, fuck. Your favorite match of the night, and the entire weekend, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Your thoughts, Cole and O'Reilly. Lay it on it, since it was your favorite match of the weekend.
It was not my favorite match of the weekend. It was the letdown. I expected it. It was still a good match, but because it was non-sanctioned and they got all the stuff out. If they just had a one-on-one wrestling match, I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
It's just, we've seen this in AEW all so much. It's just numb now. Yeah, I think that's what killed it for me.
I don't get me wrong. I love a good gimmick match. They're nice. But when you go to that well too many times, it starts to get a little boring.
And considering Walter and Ciampa had a match with no weapons that just set the bar high, it was hard to follow.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I myself been busy. I got all of Mania watched. I still haven't gotten a chance to dive into the NXT pay-per-view, and hopefully I'll be able to pretty soon, because there are a few standout matches I definitely want to watch across both nights.
I only watched the 2 main events, and that was it.
Yeah, and then we've got Balor versus Karrion Kross, and we all called Karrion Kross getting the V, and sure enough,
redemption.
Yep. I mean, I feel like we were just right on the money there, where they didn't want to do the same thing they kind of did to Balor when he was on the main roster. As soon as he got shelved for that torn or separated shoulder right after winning the Universal, they basically buried him. But Kross comes back with the same thing.
But main roster and NXT, Vince,
very true.
Triple H.
Very true. But
I'm going to put it to you this way: the guy who's came back from 2 quad surgeries is going to be a little bit more sympathetic to a guy getting hurt and having to make a comeback over Vince, who blew his quads out in the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. All things considered, though, across those first 2 nights with NXT alone, we did a damn good job. You and John fucking killed it. I mean, between the 2 of you, only 2 matches away from calling fucking everything. And then myself and Grayson, middle of the pack. Not bad. If it were baseball, we'd be fucking Hall of Famers if we kept that sort of average up. Into the biggest show of them all, on the grandest stage of them all. It's time to talk this year's WrestleMania. I don't even know what fucking number WrestleMania it is this year.
I think we're 37.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking 37 for some reason.
Because 4 is always the decade number. Because WrestleMania 10 was 94. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you. That makes sense. I was gonna say, honestly, if I were them, I would just drop the number entirely and just go back, just call it just straight up WrestleMania, because
I thought they had been.
I mean, kind of, sort of. But
I always liked having the number because it made it feel special, like
it made it seem Super Bowl-y. Yeah. So it's like part of me likes the number, but the other part I'm just kind of like, just
when they quit doing the Roman numerals, that's kind of what.
Yeah.
It's like I'll have my same argument with WrestleMania like I do with the Super Bowl. I don't know what has happened to graphic artists, but they've gotten lazy and sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They need to go back to being more creative with their logos.
Every WrestleMania logo has looked the same for it feels like to me for the past decade.
I wish they'd go back to the more retro WrestleMania logo and kind of working in that way with the old gold and silver colors.
I love the old gold and silver, that beveled edge, that embossed look.
Yes,
it was so nice.
Have that, but then have a catchy background for wherever you're at in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like WrestleMania 9, for being a shitty WrestleMania, it had a nice logo.
There are quite a few shitty WrestleManias with nice logos, but yes, I get you entirely. So let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit. So I managed to watch all of Mania. Let's just say I wasn't very impressed by the overall show. I'm not sure if this was off air or earlier on, but I'm going to go ahead and say it again, just in case, because my mind for some reason is just not with me today. I give it a 6 in total. Overall, not a great WrestleMania, but definitely not a bad one. It was one of the best ones in, let's say, 5 years at most.
Yeah, we've not had a high bar.
No, the bar is set very low with WrestleMania.
But presentation, the flow of the show, it just worked this year because we didn't. Yeah, we had fans back. We'll talk about that in a minute, but. Yep. That was nice, but still just the overall flow of it was wonderful because there wasn't a lot of the backstage hoopla. Mm-hmm. The interviews were what they were. It's WWE. Nobody can seem to watch video of Mean Gene and learn how to do an interview right.
No one can. Mean Gene set the bar far too high for interviewers. It'll never be reached again. Never.
If they would go back to that style, it's just, when you script everything, you get what you end up with your product.
Yeah, you gotta give them a little freedom to riff. They're just too afraid someone's gonna say something overly inflammatory.
Yeah,
but the performers need a little room to improv and riff. They need it bad. Give them a general outline, but don't give them every single word that comes out of their mouth. That's all you need.
Do you know what was nice about Night 1? Is because they had a cage match, they had to do it.
What was that?
No LED ring skirt, and they had the regular ring post, and that was just so nice to see.
The LED ring skirt out of those two things is the only one that bothers me. I don't mind the LED sleeve on the ring post. That's the only spot where it makes sense for me.
It's too fat and hokey looking.
It is really angular. But if I were going to take anything, I would take the ring post covers over the apron, because that flat apron looks it makes the ring look cheap to me. Yeah, and with all the crap.
And with all the other crap they're doing with the freaking upper deck being green screened, and as we said before, the skeletal pirate with his big sword and all our AR augmented reality shit they do.
Ugh.
You don't need it. And
no, really don't. It's a feast for the eyes, just not mine. Now,
technology is sometimes a blessing and a lot of times it's a curse.
Yep, 100%. So, really quick, before we dive into things. Night 1, here's our standings prediction-wise. There were 7 matches in Night 1. John was 4 for 7. Grayson was 5 for 7. I was 4 for 7. And you were also 4 for 7. I believe. Let me make sure. Yes. Yes. So there's that. Then, out of all the matches on night one, let's see, the tag match between, or the big gauntlet tag match to figure out who was going to get it. None of us picked the correct crew. None of us thought it was going to be Tamina and Neidhart's daughter.
Natalia.
Natalia, that's it. None of us thought it was going to be them. Very, very surprised. I still would have put the Riot Squad over every day of the week. But it wasn't them.
And we had Mandy Rose fall on the ramp.
Yeah, and
which they made sure we know about Monday night.
Yeah.
Because now they made it in the storyline. Everybody's tripping and falling now.
Yeah, everybody falls down now. Next match, whether this is in order or not, don't sweat it. We're just going to go through it the order that we predicted, not actual night order. Cesaro and Rollins. We all called Cesaro, and damn it, if they did not, for once, not disappoint.
I missed that match, but I heard it was good. And because of the damning of Peacock live feed, you can't rewind it, so I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I watched everything after the fact, so I was able to skip forward and backwards if I needed to. From, I believe it was SmackDown SmackDown the other night. Cesaro set his own record against Rollins for 22 spins of the big swing. 22 rotations. And then right before his finish Sunday night, he spun Rollins around for 23. So he broke his own record. I was like,
he didn't get to 37, but he got the 23.
Yep. I mean, that was impressive, though. I'm just like, oh my God, how do you not just fall over completely dizzy after that? I mean, seriously. He was just like going and going and going. And then he let him go, and then boom, finisher, and then he got the 3 count. I was so happy that Cesaro got some love. So happy.
Overdue.
Way, years overdue. Years. The last time he got any sort of love was when him and Sheamus were at the bar, and that was super enjoyable, even though they started to turn in kind of a joke towards the end there. But I did enjoy the bar.
I got to see them in their good time. Very last time I went to WWE live show was when Charlotte and Sasha had that street fight, and where if you remember where Sasha put Charlotte in the bank statement in the stairway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the surprise match of the night, which I was amazed at how surprisingly good it was. And you may disagree, but I was amazed. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison.
By far the best celebrity match ever.
100% I do not disagree. If
I give Bad Bunny the applause.
Coming from you, that is high.
I was not offended for somebody being green and a non-wrestler. I was not offended by his work and what he did. The Destroyer was kind of a little bit far out there, but I give it a pass because he was doing so well.
Yeah. The Destroyer really was the only part where they killed that suspension of disbelief.
I enjoyed his entrance was good.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it would have been Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Now, what I'll say about it is he worked well. It made it look like he was competent, and he didn't just go for weird spots the whole time. You know, he slugged it out.
And he still, when he got hit, he sold like a non-wrestler.
Yeah, he sold really, really well without making it look, like he was trying too hard. You know what I mean?
Unlike other celebrities, how can you put this? He showed the business respect.
Yes.
He didn't go into it as, oh, this is going to be fun and games. He took himself seriously, and I was not offended by what he did, and like I said, I give him an applause. You know, I'm not going to tell him to make a career out of it because he ain't got the body for it, but for what he did, I would. I'll give him Stephen Amell props.
There you go. That's pretty good because Stephen Amell did a good job when he was doing stuff. Now, I will say this, and I know you'll agree with me because you think he's a drizzling shit, but Bad Bunny, even for being green, outworks Marco Stunt 1,000 times over.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, Jesus. They're like the same size in terms of bulk, even though Bunny's taller, but the man.
But Bunny, when he takes the glasses off, he looks like somebody that could whoop your ass.
If he wanted to.
I was surprised he didn't sing to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing that kind of made me think, oh, he's taking this shit seriously. He's not rapping himself to the ring. He just, he comes on the grand entrance and whatnot because it's WrestleMania, so you get a pass for that.
Yeah. I was surprised. And what's funny is he worked nearly the entire fucking match. Damian Priest barely did anything.
Yeah.
That probably alone is the one thing that sold me. And I take back anything shitty I said about him. Like, we already had kind of high hopes when he did the best dive off the top way back at Rumble. But...
And I have to say, I actually sat down and we listened to his music. His music ain't that bad. I'm not a rap fan, but it's not... For Spanish-style rap, it's pretty good.
Hey, there we go. But
he's okay in my book.
That'll do. Props to him for winning us two, very, very stubborn shitheads over. So good on you, Bad Bunny. Good on you. Our next choice, the cage match, which was also fairly enjoyable. It wasn't a long cage match by any means.
It was what it should have been.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you what if this match would have happened in the early 2000s, do you know how this match would have ended?
Shane winning.
But how?
Some sort of dumbass spot off the top?
No. This is what would have happened if this was the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
When Strowman went, I'm not stupid, he would have picked Shane up, threw him into the cage would have broke, and Shane would have fell to the floor and won. And Braun would have looked stupid.
Very true. Very true. You're not wrong. They were not above a stupid ass, like, I wouldn't even call it ironic, just a stupid ass finish. That match,
I was not a big fan of the big bump off the cage Shane did because he almost missed it.
Yeah, he definitely almost missed it. I was like, Shane, you too old to take top of the cage bumps. You are not Mick Foley. Don't do it.
But then too, Braun threw him with one arm, which was kind of not safe as well.
Yeah, but I mean, they want to make Braun look big and strong, and what better way to look strong than throwing a full-grown man with one arm? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably what their thought process was. But
they killed Braun with the whole I was bullied my whole life thing. Yeah, you've been big your whole life, dude. Nah.
It's true. You've been big. WWE writers don't know what they're talking about.
You might have sold it better if he had said he had been obese as a child. I could have thought that maybe, but nah, not the way they sold it.
Yeah, they took the wrong angle on that. They really did. But seeing him rip open the cage and pull Shane back in was pretty good.
Oh yeah, the match served its purpose. It got Braun over as a monster, and it was what it needed to be. It wasn't it had the chicanery at the beginning, and then he got in the cage with him. He had to actually fight him in the cage, and he just destroyed him. Yep. It was what it needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have had some blood because it was a cage match, but that's just me. Every cage match should have blood if it comes to that point.
Needs a little bit. If you're going to throw someone into the links, they got to catch a spur. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I will give Braun credit. He sold that knee injury the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't forget, like every other fucking person that works on a bum leg or a kayfabe bum leg.
And they didn't do the train noise either. I was very thankful for that. Or he didn't come. I was expecting him to come to the ring riding on a train, like the Haynes Mall train.
Oh God! Just stop! Just stop! Stop!
Just stop right there.
Choo choo!
You're picturing, aren't you, that coming down that red line?
I know, I really am. A big old dude on that little train
with a conductor hat on.
You know exactly what I'm thinking about. But yeah, well, when it comes to a cage match, it'll never happen. But I'll say it again and again. I want the big steel cage back. I've never been a fan of the chain links. Never.
I think its only purpose needs to be in WWE. I think they have it trademarked, if I'm not mistaken, don't they?
I really don't know. They probably have the blue cage.
I mean, they have it. A patent on it. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Could be. That'd be something to look into. But they haven't used it in so long. Who knows? Maybe they've let the rights lapse. Because, I mean, shit, the last time they used the big blue was like, what, the fucking 90s? Early 90s at that.
Well, they painted it black and used it for... Last time I think they used it was when they had that dog match with Al Snow and Bulldog, where they used it for like the first cage where you had to get out of it and then get out of Hell in a Cell.
Oh, okay, so that would have put it late 90s, early 2000s then.
And that was when they used it in an actual cage match was Vince and Austin at Valentine's Day Massacre. And they painted it black. Or they bought a new one, or they had bought a new one and made it black.
Gotcha. So it hasn't really been used since the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss it. I miss it a lot. But I want to see some cage match finishes where there's an actual escape over the top or out the door. It's been too long. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I can't personally, and you know, I'll go ahead and admit I don't watch as much WWE shit as, you know, the next person, but I do not remember the last time personally I saw a cage match for someone, one, going over the top, or at least going out the door. I can't think of it.
I want War Games to have a roof. But not a Hell in a Cell roof, you know, the low height roof.
Yes. I don't want a gimmick roof. I want one that'll hold and not have anyone fall through it.
Yeah.
Next, we went New Day versus Styles and Omos. And like you said, off air, and also just in case anyone was wondering, we all chose Braun to win and we were all right. But off air earlier, we were talking about, I think it was in the chat or something the other day, our group chat planning stuff. Even though Grayson was the only one that chose Styles and Omos to win, you were the one that said they booked him like a proper big man, and damn it, they did.
Yep. Overdue, they do something right.
I mean, he came in, he wrecked face, and then it was done.
What I said in the chat too, almost worked the way Shaquille O'Neal should have worked.
Yes. But the problem, Omos plays a serious character. Shaq is always going to be happy-go-lucky Shaq. No matter what he's trying to do. He's
so
just
what I say, almost worked
fun.
Almost worked like Andre.
He did.
Shaq can do that being happy-go-lucky. He could have worked that Andre style. Just, I'm big, you can't do shit to me.
Yeah, exactly. Almost.
But AJ doing that forearm off his shoulders and him not buckling, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was wild. But all things considered, almost, if I was going to compare him to an Andre era, it's going to be kind of like mid-career Andre when he was starting to stiffen up. But he hadn't really lost any full steps yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna say like early WrestleMania.
Early 80s.
Yeah. not the not Body Slam WrestleMania, not that one.
Yeah, not the Andre working of shoulder run, shoulder run, shoulder run, butt thrust, headbutt, 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 headbutt.
Yeah. Andre, when he could still take a bump or two and give some.
Yeah, when he wasn't hurting. Let's put that. When Andre wasn't hurting.
Yes. So mid-career Andre, not late era.
Because you gotta respect Andre. You can't talk shit about his late career because like you said.
I mean, he was
hurting.
a victim of circumstance. You can't help that. You really can't. The only thing that could have helped him was the one surgery like Big Show got, but I forget the reasoning behind why he didn't get it. But that was
new, and he was afraid. He was afraid he was going to. I don't know. I think because he was going to lose weight or something, he was worried he was going to lose his big
look.
That big man look.
Mm-hmm.
He was afraid it was going to hurt his wrestling career. He didn't want to do it.
That makes sense. It does, but I could only imagine if he had gotten that surgery, how long he would have lasted after that.
I mean, if he could have gotten back to the way he looked in the early 70s, holy shit.
It would have been wild, man.
He would still been what, was it 7'6", 7'5", or what was it?
Yeah, I mean they billed him as what, 7'7"?
Yeah, I mean he was still going to be over 7 foot tall, and if he worked out, he could have kept the muscle on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just seeing Andre in Big Show shape right now, holy shit! You look at him.
Good God, it would have been nuts. But that's one of those.
What if?
In another part of the multiverse, he's probably still kicking. But as it is. All we can say is R.I.P. and almost did a damn fine homage to Andre. Working big and tough. Now, next, Banks and Belair. First, John and Weatherman, the only ones to call Belair because, one, myself, I don't care for Belair. Grayson, I can't speak for him, but I believe it was the same deal. We were wrong. Belair won. She got her belt.
I didn't care for Belair. I don't like her, but I'm not a fan of hers, but just thinking that would be booking, I couldn't go choose against her.
I know. It's like part of me wanted to go with booking, but just the fact that I don't care for the character at all, I had to go with the one that I do have some investment in, and that was Sasha. And it was a good match. It was
Sasha was still in the glow, wasn't she?
Sasha was very neon. Very neon. I wouldn't go so far as to say she was a love child of Naomi
Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far, but I can see where you're coming from with that. Shotzi Blackheart and Naomi.
Now, you guys all fair disagree with me. I think Sasha's done some plastic surgery work, too.
I don't think so.
She's coming off very plastically looking.
Honestly, I blame that more on makeup and camera than anything else. Because if you think back to seeing her
if I watch her in Mandalorian, yeah, she looked natural.
Yeah, I really think it's just the makeup.
Now, Charlotte, on the other hand, she's getting close to being classified as a Barbie doll, and not in a good way.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook. Someone said it looks like every time she goes on a hiatus, she comes back with a different part worked on. Now, that does sound mildly insensitive, but I mean, compared, I just saw an action figure package from an earlier run of Mattel basic figures, and the picture on the back of her, I was like, holy shit, she doesn't even look like that anymore.
I mean, it's true. It's
not a matter of age either, because
it's a WWE problem with the women. They all feel they got to get plastic surgery. Natalya's had it done. Carmella, she has had too much done, and it's not, I'm not being insane. I'm just calling it like I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like the multiple plastic surgery. I don't like it in adult films. I think it's bullshit. Just be natural.
Mm-hmm.
You know, too many celebrities are out there. You know, you can't look 25 forever, and you know, people will be all right with you if you age a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with wearing makeup. It's just having your face reconstructed every 3 months is just not good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad the way culture
Look at Bailey. Bailey showed a little age, but she still looks good.
Mm-hmm. Bailey also looked like someone's mom yelling at Hogan and everybody during her little segment too.
I'm okay with it.
Glasses and a blazer. I was like, oh my god, with that haircut, you just look like someone's gonna chew me out at Walmart.
And not trying to sound insensitive, but I think the Bellas are wearing some of the loosest clothes they ever wore in their whole WWE careers.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The Bellas,
baby Bellas.
Oh boy, it was a drastic change in fashion for them. It truly was. And now the final match that I've got listed for night one: Lashley and McIntyre. And
I'm glad I got this one wrong.
Yeah, we all chose McIntyre because we thought he was going to get his redemption moment since it was kind of taken from him last year. Nope. They're like, put it on Lashley.
And Lashley won it convincingly with the Hurt Lock.
Mm-hmm. It was an all right match.
And that was actually the first match of the night. Which kind of...
It's the last one we predicted on, but the first match of the night.
The women were the main event, which, okay, I'm cool with that, but I still kind of wonder if your top championship needs to be your curtain jerker. Because Cesaro Rollins could have been a real good to draw you in.
Yeah, it definitely could have. I almost think Styles and Omos would have been the best opener.
I could see that.
Yeah, I feel like that match right there would have been the best opener. Because one, you got the big name in Styles, you got the big name in the New Day, and then you've got that curiosity factor of Omos in his first official wrestling capacity match. And so you've got that draw and that hook already, and you're going to have that big strong man near squash finish, even though it wasn't a squash match, but he pretty much squashed everybody once he came in the ring.
Before we go on to night two, this is something we need to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Weather was a factor this time.
Oh yeah, huge delay at the beginning. Like when I was watching, I was skipping through because you know how
Lightning
WWE
delay.
Programming is loaded with commercials and bullshit at the beginning of every one of them. I skipped forward and I was like, holy shit, I'm already 40 minutes in. And I was like, did I miss a match? And I backed up. I was like, oh no, I forgot. Rain delay.
It wasn't rain delay. I think it was lightning more than anything because if you're not familiar, if you've not been in an outdoor event, there are rules in place.
Mm-hmm.
That after a lightning strike, you have to wait 30 minutes. There cannot be a lightning strike within 30 minutes of the last lightning strike for them to start something back up. So they had to wait that 30 minutes out for the lightning. But that brings to my question: is this going to be the end of the outdoor WrestleManias? Are they going to go strictly to the big domes, or big domes, or have arenas that can be open and shut?
I could see them going towards the open and shut, but at the same time, it just depends on where they're having it. It really does. You can't truly control the weather, but I would say, the outdoor ones have a good feel to them. I do like it. But I could see them doing a mix, and honestly, it's somewhere where weather's as wild as Florida. They don't need to be doing outdoor shows in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in a building with AC and call it a day.
Yep.
Because
I was rather shocked they did not try to do WrestleMania this year in an arena because they were not going to have a big crowd anyway.
I think it's still just a matter of everyone inside of an enclosed space, regardless of how big the space is. They're still running on the open air is better than closed air. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that. Ready to pop over to night 2?
Let's move on.
All right. Night 2, a.k.a. the sad night. Night Poo. That joke was terrible, but I'll do it anyway. Fuck it. Yeah, sad trombone. Well, night 2, just in case that wasn't a good enough giveaway, it wasn't amazing. There were a couple good matches, but all in all, night 2 compared to night 1, almost night and day. It was just like night 1, they barely had any slip-ups with the way they did stuff. It was pretty enjoyable the whole time. I didn't have any matches where I felt like I was just like, man, this is a fucking slog. And I stayed invested. Night 2, however, we had the big tag match, Jackson Baszler versus Tamina and Natalya.
And that was the thing. I did not care one bit about that match.
Oh, it was so boring.
Night 2 found me at the concession stand a lot. Also known as my kitchen.
Like, well, I'm going to go visit the merch table. But yeah, Grayson was the only one that called Jackson Baszler. I believe all the rest of us went with the mystery one. At least by my notes here, I could be wrong, but all the rest went with the mystery from beforehand. I can't remember any caveats there, but
it wasn't the mystery. It was the winner of the tag team turmoil on night 1.
Or no, wait, no. That's right. John did go Jackson Baszler. Never mind. So Grayson and John got that.
No, remember John said that if the Riot Squad didn't win, it was that argument.
He had a safety that I forgot about. He had a safety. If they didn't win, then Jackson Baszler would. He had a safety. I marked it down incorrectly on my paper. That one was on me. So John and Grayson got the Jackson Baszler. Me and you going for the the mystery. Well, mystery fucked us.
Yeah.
But that match, fucking snoozer, man. Oh. Next, the worst match of the night, by far, Orton and the Fiend.
Yeah, so you know the old saying, when you come out of a box, you're instantly over. Not this time.
No.
But I will say, did you watch any of the Super Bowl wheel or the halftime show?
I did not.
Have you seen the memes about the weekend where he's like really confused in this like digital maze?
Yeah.
Okay, I think they left that from Super Bowl and the Fiend used it for that transformation scene. I
wouldn't be surprised.
It'd been funnier if everybody was here and everybody knew what I was talking about, but that's what it reminded me of. It looks like they had found that from the Super Bowl concert and was using that for the Fiend's transformation back to normal Fiend or whatever. And then Alexa's whole winding of the box did not go with the music.
No, it didn't. There were a lot of miscues with it. And it's like, that match, honestly, with the gimmicks that worked. Let me rephrase it. That gimmick and that setup was way too fucking new era or new generation to even fucking work. It was goddamn awful.
Randy Orton's gear looked good.
Yeah, it's like him and Edge coming out in matching gear. To jump ahead just a smidge, makes a lot of people wonder if Rated RKO is going to make a comeback.
That had good music.
Mm-hmm.
When they combined Burning My Light and Edge's On This Day, whatever it's called, together, and I always liked that theme.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Rated RKO could return. We shall see. We shall see. They could easily play it off as the whole reason Orton was being shitty to Edge was all due to some sort of long-term Fiend game bullshit. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do it. But all things considered...
One other thing the Fiend match taught me, do not order the squid ink pasta.
No, don't. No.
Or you'll end up like Alexa Bliss and just having the squid ink perspiring from your pores.
That... whoever set up the pump to spray that shit should be fired.
They
It's
said
supposed to look like it's oozing down her head, not spraying out in, pressurized gushes like a heartbeat. Because
they must have had they must have had the setting on Peter North.
Yeah, they just fucked up so much. Yeah, none of us chose Orton. We all thought the Fiend was going to go over, and this is another example of them misbooking the Fiend and fucking up his return. It's like, ooh, giant dramatic return. Now he has a fucking WrestleMania event. What are you going to do? Give a win?
And he randomly disappears.
Yeah. I don't fucking know. I honestly, I'm fucking done with the Fiend. Like, I was stoked about it when it first happened, just fairly stoked. I was like, okay, this has potential. It could work. Hopefully they don't fuck it up.
It had potential. The only way this character would have worked, like I said before, would either been with Mankind or The Undertaker.
It's true. He doesn't have a supernatural foil to really go against and mirror, so it doesn't really jive. And honestly, I've thought it since day one. He's just a shitty New 52 Joker ripoff. That's all his mask is. Everyone's like, this mask is badass. No, it's New 52 Joker. After he peeled his skin off and fucking strapped it back to his face. That's all it is.
So that was New 52. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's New 52.
I'd seen pictures of it. I thought it was some kind of. I thought that was some kind of villain that was that cut people's faces off and cut Joker's face off. And he put his face back on or something.
No, it was legit the Joker. He lost his shit, peeled his own face off, and strapped it back on somehow. I don't know all the ins and outs, but it's just New 52 Joker. And that's the other thing that kind of set me on not being fully invested in the Fiend when I first saw it, being a comic book person to an extent. I was just like,
we all lived through Sting Joker.
This is true. We all lived through the Crow, the Wish Crow, and you just aren't cutting it, buddy. Now, next, let's see, which match do I want to go with? I'll go Riddle and Sheamus. We all chose Riddle, and we were all wrong. Sheamus got his belt.
Good.
That match was nice. It was not bad. Wasn't
when the birds came out of his ass, I turned the channel.
Yeah, it was getting a little tedious towards the end, but when Sheamus fucking pump kicked him in the middle of a backflip to finish it, goddamn, because he legit busted Riddle's mouth open. Riddle was spitting blood out of his mouth at the end, it was running down his face.
I'm glad Sheamus got rid of the mohawk.
I am too. He didn't look right with the mohawk. It just didn't do it.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I honestly, I'm glad Sheamus got a win. I like Sheamus a lot. Main roster Riddle doesn't strike me as a belt holder. NXT Riddle did. But main roster Riddle is going to suffer the curse of the main roster. It's just the way
I was expecting Riddle to crash the scooter on the way down the ramp, but he made the whole ramp.
Hey, there was only
what I would like to see.
On night one.
I would have liked to have seen him try to do that on the WrestleMania Orlando ramp.
Oh God.
And back to Randy Orton, at least he didn't have the augmented sperm.
Yes.
Like at Orlando. Following him to the ring.
Oh boy.
We will never forget about that.
No, we really won't. God.
And he admitted to it too. He goes, it looked like a fucking sperm following me down the ramp.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't a snake. That was a sperm. So, next. Owens and Zayn. John was the only one to call Kevin Owens, and he was correct. We all went Zayn, and we were wrong. But the only credit I will give Owens, other than him and Zayn putting on a decent match, is he fucking stunned Logan Paul, and we all wanted it to happen.
Who is Logan Paul anyway?
He's YouTube famous. That's all it is.
Oh.
I don't give a shit enough to really know, other than he's a douchebag. He's the one that did all the shit in the suicide forest in Japan, trying to find dead bodies and was super disrespectful. But he's only famous for being a YouTube personality. Same with him and his brother. Fuck him. I'm glad he got stunnered, but I will say this. Owens needs to really put something behind that gut kick to set up the stunner, because both of those had the weakest fucking gut kick I've ever fucking seen. Holy shit. I know Kevin Owens can fucking throw a kick. He can super kick, for God's sake. But shit.
And his finisher used to be a package pile driver, and he has to set that up.
I mean, he damn near... He was about to reference one of them for sure, because he had Zayn, like, he had the arms tucked and wrapped around. He was grabbing him by the hands, getting ready to lift him up. I was like, oh shit, he's going to package pile driver him? Or I think for a while, it was like he'd set up like the old package pile driver he did when he was during his Steam days. But instead it turned into like a sit-out power bomb. But it had the same initial setup. So when I saw him getting ready for it, instantly I started thinking about Penta.
Yeah, he's teased it several times. But he's always either did that power bomb or something else. Because when he first came over from Ring of Honor, I think it was it was him and Zayn when they had their first NXT Takeover match. He teased it.
Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to see it, but the pile driver's on the no-no list from WWE, which still makes me wonder why in the fuck they'll allow a Canadian destroyer since it's just a flipping pile driver.
And the package pile driver is really safer than the regular pile driver.
Yeah, it really is. But, wow. I mean, you know, who knows? Who fucking knows? It was a decent match. Zayn lost. Owens threw some shitty kicks to start off his stunners, but his stunners look all right. But that's about all that stands out in that match to me. It wasn't awful, but it didn't really... There weren't any super highlights for me. Then you had Big E and Apollo Crews in there. What was the name of that gimmick match?
Nigerian drum match. Wow.
They didn't utilize the drums at all. It was just a fucking hardcore match full of fucking kendo sticks.
But they had, I did call that. They did have drums at ringside.
They did, but they, unless I missed it, but I think I watched it from, start to finish. The drums never came into play.
Was this, did this have the interference?
Yes, it did.
Okay, because I have a problem with that. If you're going to come out as a Nigerian general, you're going to have to cut that hair, buddy, because I've seen a lot of documentaries from these African countries, or these militant countries. They don't have dreadlocks, buddy. Cut the hair. If they can make Doug Basham cut his hair in OEW, they can make whoever this guy was. He was from the Underground or something, am I right?
Lucha Underground?
No, he's from that Raw Underground one.
Oh, Raw Underground, yeah, I forgot all about Raw Underground. I can't remember who he is, in all honesty. That would be right up John's alley. Okay, so it was Dabakato did the run-in, or Dabakato. I'm not sure how he is... or how it's
addressed.
Pronounced. So that's who did the run-in. I am unfamiliar with him, but there he is. I see that apparently he's fairly well known with most people, but the announcers tried to play it up like they've never seen him before. And that never goes over. Never.
Let me just say this about WWE announcers. Finkel set the bar very high. Chimmel set the bar pretty good. The ring announcers on all three of these platforms suck. And we already know my feelings about AEW. I hate Justin Roberts.
I'll still take AEW ring announcers, etc., over anybody else. I will. I think their announce team is 1,000 times fucking better.
I'm talking about the ring announcer.
I like Justin Roberts. I do.
Nah, I don't.
I find him better.
I didn't like him in WWE. I don't like him in AEW.
Nobody is better than Howard Finkel.
No, you ain't never gonna get anybody better than Finkel. But you can, like I said, it's like the whole Mean Gene thing. Watch Finkel, watch Chimmel, Don't try to be bigger than the program. That's what I think a lot of guys try to do. Like the guy for SmackDown, I think it is, that guy that does the ring announcing, he tries to be bigger than the show.
Mm-hmm. Now, by
With his
announcers,
voice.
I mean the commentary team more than anything. But yeah, they were not good. And honestly, this is my biggest gripe with Raw and with WrestleMania, and it kind of goes along with my personal thoughts on the Royal Rumble and their need to add match at the end of it. I know the event's called the Royal Rumble. I've watched it for fucking 30 years. I don't have to have match put at the end to differentiate from the show and the match, which is its namesake. I don't need that. I understand. No one needs you to tell me it is a match. Just like I don't need to be told the name of the fucking stadium in Tampa where WrestleMania is being held 10 fucking times a night, both nights. It's not like you fucking moved.
Well, there may be a reason for that.
I mean, it's
because the stadium's licensed. The name of that stadium is licensed to Raymond James Investments. I think it's either investments or a bank. Probably part of the stadium agreement is they have to say the stadium name so many times to get because they own the rights to the arena name.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
if it had just been Tampa Memorial Stadium, they probably wouldn't have said it 10 times.
Probably
because it had a licensed name to it. It was probably in the negotiation deal with the venue. Hey, make sure you put Raymond James over as much as you can.
I mean, you're probably right, but seriously, it fucking gets old.
Yeah,
it grates on my nerves.
In response to the Royal Rumble match part, the announcers calling it, yes. But when the ring announcer makes the formal introduction to explain the rules, you gotta say it because it flows better that way. Because it's
yes. With that,
it is now time for the Royal Rumble match. Here are the rules. Blah 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 blah.
That one, I will give you that. I will. But
that was my best Howard Finkel I could do.
That wasn't bad. But the commentary team calling that the entire fucking show, Jesus Christ, I could choke the life out of somebody. But I said all my shit about that way back when we did our Rumble show. So I'm going to leave it at that because I'll get caught in a loop again. It's a curse. It's a curse. But Cruz got his win. It was definitely a heel win. It was a dirty finish. Good for him. You and Grayson were the only two that called that one. Next, let's see, is there next? No, that was it. Okay, we already did them all. Shit, I thought there was another one. But no, that's, let me double check. Maybe.
Asuka
there are.
Ripley.
I almost forgot two whole matches. Ripley and Asuka. That was a good match. And then, I mean, that's as far as we go. We all chose Rhea Ripley. In the grand scheme of things, there were no super standout moments in the match. Although, definitely...
The band that sung the song was not that good. She was not as good as her recorded counterpart.
Now, Ripley also should probably phase out the dangly chains from her ring attire because those shits were just getting ripped off and laying all over the ring throughout the match. Those probably should be phased out, or play a page out of Ricky Stark's book. Turn it into a print on the side of your tights.
Yeah.
Because when he was in NWA, they were actually dangly little chains. Looked fucking stupid, and they constantly got wrecked. What'd he do when he came to AEW? they became printed on chains. You still knew it. It still did what he wanted it to do, but no longer did he have these little dangly things that could. But all things considered, Asuka always works a good match. I always want Asuka to win, but Ripley always works a good match. And you put those two together, it was a good one. It was solid. Not amazing, but it was better than a lot of the other matches that night.
Yeah.
And then the main event, Reigns, Bryan, and Edge.
The burial.
Me, you, and John all chose Edge. Grayson chose Daniel Bryan, and all of us were fucking wrong. They fucked this match up so fucking hard because they want us to buy into Roman so fucking bad. They will do anything. They want it. Roman to look so good, but I'm glad that it wasn't a clean finish. I really am. Because, I mean, they brought in Jey Uso so many fucking times in that match to help Roman. It set him up more heel-like, but also, in my opinion, with that many times, it made him look weak as shit.
At least he was a heel this time, so when they booed him, it made sense.
I'm so glad everyone was booing him at the end. I really am. Like, I could... It's not like back in the day where the boos were real, or like they were boos because they hated him for being a heel. No, these boos were because they hated him because Roman fucking sucks. And all the chants of Roman sucks throughout the match, I was super behind.
You know, and the way he won, the way it went over, and the way they were talking on the announce team that, you know, who's going to top the trial? It was like they were teasing the fuck out of The Rock coming out.
They really were. They really were.
And it would have been a good way to close the show, in my opinion. If you, I was like I was sitting in the group chat that I'm just sitting there waiting to hear if you smile and then send it off.
It never happened.
But it never happened.
No, it was a garbage fest. It really was. I was not pleased by any stretch of the imagination with that match. I was hoping that Bryan or someone would get the dub, but sadly, no dub for them. Instead, he stacked them up and pinned both of them, fucking ruining any strength they had, personally. I mean, Edge... I
would have liked to have seen when they both put him in the crossface.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have passed out or tapped and then had a who's the champ?
Yeah, I was honestly thinking that was what was going to happen. Personally, because how many fucking pass out finishes were there this WrestleMania?
True.
There were too many. I feel like there were at least two.
Well, hold on now, let me think now. Let's think about this match over again. If you look, because Roman pin, I was expecting it to be a draw or some kind of schmoz, because when Roman put Bryan down, I want to swear his shoulders wasn't down, he was covering Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could be some sort of thing for SmackDown, who knows, but I think his shoulders were down, but still by the rules. A part of me was.
I know what you're saying. By the way he had him stacked, Edge was the only one whose shoulders were on the ground.
And so technically, the first count would have went to Bryan.
Exactly.
If they were going to do a smosh finish, that's what they could have done. The referee could have started counting, and then said, "Oh no, Bryan won. He got the first 3 count."
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, Roman threw him on top. Even though, you know, I think he was laying like belly up, and then he just like laid down on top of both of them.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Bryan's shoulders weren't on the ground. I feel like they were just laying on Edge's chest. And I was just waiting for the referee to be like, no, this you didn't win. Bryan gets the pin. So, you know.
Where's Jack Tunney when you need him?
Yeah. I know.
Well, even if he had... triple threats can't win in draw, so because there's technically no disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would just had a one-on-one match and been done with it.
Now, Brian's shoulders are down. Edge was on top of Brian, but the way he's laying on it, it looks like Edge's shoulders would be down too.
Okay. But still, technically, the pin should have been counted for Edge by the rules.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that would have been a better angle because it would have shown Roman as cocky and like, and then foiled him and whatnot, and then him like be up the referee or something, get fined, but that's proper storytelling.
They haven't done a proper like smash and go fine story angle in so long. I don't think they know how to do it anymore. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But that was WrestleMania. I guess we could address the elephant in the room. That crowd sure was close together.
Yeah, they were. I was surprised, man. I mean, I know Florida and Texas are, running, roughshod and fast and loose with the rules, but, I mean, at least there were a lot of masks still in play.
I was shocked there was no plexiglass.
That surprised me as well, the lack of plexiglass.
And they were up against the barricades, you said, and off the air.
Uh-huh. They were up against the barricades, and then, you had that one dude during the
Belair.
Sasha and Belair match who, after the pin, just practically jumped out of the seat and almost flipped over the barricade. I'm like, who in the fuck paid you to do that? Because that wasn't that good a match. I mean, you want to be famous, huh? That's all I can think of. You just want your 15 minutes. Well, you got them. Good for you, but still. I don't know.
Now, so now let's talk about future WrestleManias for a quick moment before we go over to All Factions Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we're pretty much safe to say we're going to be on a 2-night format for the future.
I agree.
How do you see them selling tickets? All lower areas being required to buy both days in one ticket? Or one day on sale one day and then the next day, the second day goes on sale?
I have a feeling what they're going to do is they're going to put both days up at once. Okay? What they'll do is they'll offer a package deal for floor seats in both night, or all seats in both nights up front. They'll probably do that as like a pre-sale early on for a lot of people. And then they'll set up a certain allotted number of seats for that. Probably your best seats will be reserved for 2-nighters. Your best seats and sections reserved for 2-nighters but they'll also definitely leave some of the seats in those areas open. Like, you're not going to get ringside unless you buy a 2-night ticket.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. But you could still get lower level 1-night tickets. But your best ones, your ringside, your entrance side, I believe almost all of that is going to have to be done package style.
Mm-hmm.
And then every other seat is going to be on a nightly basis with an option for a package deal. That's how I see it going.
Because like I said before, I think the 2-night format was very successful for the viewer and the person there.
I didn't think it was bloated and just overly long like the previous years, like 7-hour ordeals.
But if they're going to do this, they got to stick to this format. 3 hours each night, no pre-show nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it a Don't make it a 2-day marathon.
Oh God, fuck! Please don't. I was happy with the 3-hour format. 3 hours is perfectly digestible, especially if you've got a weird schedule and you may not be able to catch it live on the night of and you watch it later. It's perfect. I don't have to set aside 7 hours to watch it in one go. If I wanted to just sit down and watch it, I could sit down, watch it in the amount of time I'd watch a fucking like nice long movie. It's like watching the Avengers plus ½ an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That I can do. And then There's the second night. Done. Please figure out a better way to pepper in your commercials. They break up the flow a little bit.
And I think we're damned to commercials now because it's being done through streaming now instead of pay-per-view.
Yeah. It's rough, man. It's rough.
It wasn't as bad for WrestleMania as it was for the other pay-per-views they've done, where it's pretty much like watching a fancy Raw.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And as I said before, it was so nice to see WWE doing matches the whole night and not 2 hours of watching this. If you was at the show, watching the stadium screen.
Yeah, it wasn't a bunch of like bullshit soap opera moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super for it. The only thing they really fucked up on this year was Post-Mania Raw. Apparently it was the drizzling shits. I never watched Raw anyway, but I'm sure you watched a little bit before you turned it off.
I peeked in and it was bad. Well, like I said, what I peeked in on was they were making fun of they turned the whole Mindy Rose slipping into a storyline where everybody was pretty much Nia Jax was tripping. She done the Batista second rope trip and then she fell off the apron and yeah, after that I said that's enough. Maurice came back last night actually and the Miz got ripped down to his underwear like she was trying to cover his genitals.
Oh boy.
That was because the new season of their show was on afterwards, which is what Cody and Brandy are striving to have.
No, I mean, well, that's a good enough segue to pop over to AEW. Really.
It is, ain't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm never gonna watch their show. It's just I have no interest in it. I don't care. I want to see Cody actually wrestle and stop trying to diversify his portfolio with shitty reality shows.
Agreed.
I mean, he can host a game show. I'm fine with that. That doesn't bother me. But, one, if you got a 45-minute long intro, you don't need a reality show.
If you got your own entrance gate, you don't need a reality show.
Yes. But Dynamite last week.
I made it 40 minutes and I turned it off.
That wasn't too bad for you. It wasn't too bad. First, even though it was premature, they did officially basically tell us that the Inner Circle is now a face faction. I mean, we kind of saw it coming, but they hadn't officially done it yet because they were still popping out of the left-hand heel side entrance.
They don't know what tunnel's what.
I mean, they came out of the right tunnel this time.
Okay.
So they came out of the face tunnel for their little speech. And Jericho apologized to the fans. So immediately, that 100% is a face turn for the Inner Circle. Now, are they going to be the Goody Two-Shoes style faces? No. More or less, they're going to try and be a faction of Moxley's. That's what I see kind of happening. But I see
that was the second segment of the show, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
I turned it off after that because it was just like.
It wasn't awful, but I thought last week's show was decent. It was pretty good.
It's like I said before. The feud has no promise to me now because the Inner Circle got their payback. To me, the feud's dead.
I think the feud still has some steam behind it. I do. I feel like this was just two teams that are really, really strong and stubborn, taking pot shots at one another, but we haven't had a decisive, edged out victory for either one.
But you know the whole real reason why the Inner Circle turned face, don't you?
Explain.
One reason only. They have the excuse to sing Jericho's song now.
Yes.
Because if you notice, when they came out for this promo, did they come out to the Inner Circle theme? No. They came out to Judas, so everybody could sing the chorus twice, just like Jericho wanted. And he sat there and just soaked it in. I'm not going to say drink it in, because that's a WWE copyright.
It probably is. Uh, as much as I enjoy Jericho, like, he's the only person who either it's a really good character portrayal of ego, or his ego really is as big as Cody Rhodes. But I would almost say more well-deserved.
Ethan Page is going to have to find another gimmick, because all ego...
He's never going to be able to top those two.
It's going to, if anything, it's going to be all ego Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ethan Page ain't coming out the center ramp, the center gate.
No, I want some people to start, like, busting out of the center gate just to, like, do that. I want QT Marshall to come out of the center.
I would like that.
Yeah, that would be perfect. It would be the ultimate, like, you know, piss and Cody's cornflakes thing. Yeah. And to be honest, I thought QT cut a pretty good, you know, little promo. It wasn't bad. The only thing that hurt them is the throwing of the paint did not go over very well.
I missed that.
Yeah, he cut a promo from the Nightmare Factory gym where, you know, his crew was introduced and they had a moment to, you know, talk shit. Anthony Ogogo had a minute to, you know, come out and talk about, you know, him being big in Britain, etc. It made sense, like, the way he did it. And it made him come off as, like, really strong and a bit cocksure. But then also, like, QT was seated the entire time, and he spoke with, like, a even yet powerful tone the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just, like, he didn't let emotions get behind anything. He was just, like, he was stating, like, dead-ass, like, serious facts to whoever was listening. And then, you know, he's like, basically he said, "This is my fucking factory." And then behind him, the one I keep wanting to call Camacho, Camarado, that's it. Had a giant 5-gallon bucket of paint, and he went to, like, throw it up on the Nightmare Factory banner on the back wall, and, like, the way it sloshed, it just went really, really low and just splished the very, very bottom of the skull. I think they wanted it to really cover it, but it just barely left the bucket. So that was the only thing that fucked up their entire promo. If you get a chance, definitely go and watch it, because I actually thought they did a good job on it.
And what's bad is, you know, they could have done a second take of that, probably.
They probably could have. I mean, it would have been expensive to have multiple banners printed up, but, you know, it is what it is. Matches for that night. I mean, truly.
I remember why I turned it off too, because they were really pushing the Bear Country Jungle Boy Luchasaurus and shit stunt match.
Oh, Marco Stunt wasn't even a part of that. He really wasn't. He only had a moment where he was backstage.
Well, they had his face on that banner, and I was like, yeah, fuck this.
He was a non-entity. It was fucking Bear Country and Jurassic Express proper the entire time. And Bear Country looked damn good. Like, it was a good match. It really was. Now, one thing that I'm sad that they don't, that needs to come back, and I was reading something about this a while back, or listening to something. I was listening to Jericho interview Christian on his podcast last week. And they were talking about his match with Kazarian week before last, and how it started off with a classic collar and elbow tie-up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and they were talking about how it's almost a lost art. I'm like, you're right. No one fucking does them at the beginning of matches anymore. It sets the pace of the match. It really shows, like, the test of strength between the two individuals. I want collar and elbow tie-ups back. I really do.
I want wrestling back.
It's still there. It's just a weird version. I would like a little more classic splashed in than the way influenced by lucha libre style indie wrestling that is pervasive in most modern formats now. But it's still there. It's just very. Let's just.
I want there to be the rules be set and followed every match.
I will say this. One, when it comes to AEW, their 10 count rule, they don't fuck up too much. I see WWE fucking up their counts way more than AEW does.
Oh yeah.
They do their 10 count well. It's at a steady pace every time. They do their rope break counts really well. Most of their in-ring rules go quite well. Now,
I don't like the tag team rule that you have 10 seconds to get back to get in your corner after a tag. It's supposed to be 5.
Yeah, I chalk that up just like New Japan does 20 seconds outside the ring instead of 10.
And Rick Knox fucks up tag team. Everything he touches, he fucks up.
I'm not going to dispute that. I won't. He is not very good. But let's just say overall, I feel that they do a pretty good job at adhering to most of their in-ring rules. It's just the more nuanced rules get lost, in the shuffle. What New Japan does that I like is that the ring announcer does the count. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then everybody in the building kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah, he basically the ref does the hand signals and like the count for the wrestlers, and then the ring announcer does the count for the audience in attendance.
And the getting back in the ring at 9.75 has gotten old.
I know.
Because everybody does it.
Everybody fucking does it. I'm just like, dude, just either one, fuck up and misstep and take the L to mix it up on us. It's not that big a loss. Just do it. It doesn't make you look bad. It makes it look like, there was a misstep. They got the better of you this time. Get them back later.
And I shit on Moxley a lot. I don't like the way he's been working. I like his New Japan work. But I will say he will go into the ring and break a 10 count.
Yeah, he will. He'll roll in and roll right back out. That's classic shit. And, I saw more of that this WrestleMania than any other one.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually done strategically. It was a good job.
To me, if you're going, I'm not going to go back to the 80s, but if you go back to the mid-90s, the best company that handled the counts the best in America was WCW.
They really did. They did a good job on the counts.
And it was uniform. Mm-hmm. If they went out of the ring, they started counting.
Yep.
But look at their referee crew.
It was a solid crew.
You had Randy Anderson, Mark Curtis, who was Tommy Young's apprentice. Mm-hmm. Mickey J. Later on, you had Billy Silverman and Little Nate, Charles Robinson.
Yep.
Which they were young, and you had Nick Patrick, who was the senior official for his whole NWO thing, which was stupid, but whatever.
Yeah. It is what it is. He just wanted to do a dangerous Danny Davis angle. Yeah,
that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
I did not know Billy Silverman worked for the WWF before he went to WCW.
Would never have known.
Another thing too, interesting fact: the WWF Royal Rumble pinball game. Mm-hmm. Bill Alfonso is the referee. Drew on it.
Oh.
Where you put your coin in at, there's a referee there. It's Bill Alfonso.
Well, goddamn.
So there's your fun fact of the day. If you go to an arcade, a pinball arcade, and you find the Royal Rumble, take a look at it.
There you go, everybody. There's some homework for you. But yeah, like all things considered, AEW, I think, as of right now, does a better job at following most of the rules. It's just a lot of the tropes that have developed over the past, I'm going to say 10 years, are getting driven into the ground. We got to have more legit countouts, no more like 9.5s, just call it fucking 10 and say they're out before they get back in. I mean, like, I'm sick of it too. I was like, New Japan's bad about it. They'll start slowing down right there at the end of the count just a little bit, like a half step when they get to those upper teens, just to give them that much more time. Now, granted, it does feel like it heightens the drama. Imagine like personal time dilation where it feels like time slows down for them as they're doing those last few seconds, you know? I kind of get that idea from it. But their outside of the ring count out shit is the most inconsistent.
A count out draw or a count out loss is not as, it will not bury you as much as being pinned in the center of the ring.
Exactly. If you're
a babyface and you get knocked out and you lose to a count out, you're going to get sympathy.
Mm-hmm. And I believe it was us talking about it as well. I want the 3 hand drops back.
Yeah.
I want them back. I'm tired of the, like, soon as their eyes close, they're like, oh, ring the bell, they're done. No. Check them. Give them the hand drops. Because if they don't magically float at the bottom of, like, 2 and fucking 0.99 of the hand drop, if it doesn't like float a fucking millimeter from the canvas and start shaking and coming back up,
unless it's a Kimura where they're literally tapping.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see somebody, people screaming, "I give up," come back.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. The last person that did that, honestly, was Eddie Kingston, and I do wish John was on tonight so he could say "fuck Eddie Kingston." But see, but he's the last. If we had managers, that's what we need. We need managers, not. Well, Paul Heyman does the best he can with the advocate gimmick, but we need managers back buying guys contracts. You're under me now. I can take you to the top. Matt Hardy's doing it, but in a dumb way. He could improve it so much more. It's like he's got this weird hustler gimmick, and it's not going over quite the way I would like it to. It needs to be more shrewd businessman, and less I've got ludicrous amounts of money here, come work for me.
Like Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Like, I've acquired this deal with Mr. Fuji to get, or what was it? He sent Hercules to Mr. Fuji. He got somebody out of the deal.
Yeah.
The whole, like with Red Rooster, or what's his name? I can't think of his name now. Whatever. When the whole Red Rooster thing's, I'll take you to the top, or I'll ruin you.
Yeah. I would like to see proper managers come back. The closest to one of those anyone had, kinda, was FTR and Tully recently. Honestly, everyone else has like glorified buddies or valets now. There's no true managers.
Yeah.
I want the return of the manager. I do. But I digress. We're getting a little bit off the topic. We're dancing around.
Yeah.
But back to AEW so we can get a nice little tie a bow in it for the night. Truly, nothing from the show the other night really like pops back into mind. It's been a few days since I watched it. It was a decent program.
Mike Tyson did a thing.
Mike Tyson did do a thing. They finally did the burying of the hatchet with Jericho and Tyson. It made sense. Tyson did look like the toughest dude in the room, and his pulled punches still looked really good when he was wailing on MJF or whoever. Like, him pulling his punches, it looked good. It still looked like he was legit, like, slugging on him. But you could tell just a little bit that he was pulling him back, but it still looked good. But honestly, I inadvertently called it last week. I said the best thing that could happen from the main event, which was Kenny and the Good Brothers versus Mox and the Bucks. The Bucks doing a last-minute turn like they've been brought over to the dark side by Don Callis, and sure fucking enough, it happened.
But we all expected that.
It's true, we kind of did, but we were wondering because they had been playing that, classic, almost squeaky clean Hulk Hogan style face angle for quite a while. And then it's just like the best Bucks is the Dirty Bucks, and the Dirty Bucks are back. And I'm super stoked on it. I'm
I
ready.
did see something that Kenny's going against Rich Swann at the Impact pay-per-view for the Impact title, so I guess they're going to roll with Belt King, Kenny, or whatever.
Belt Collector?
Belt Collector, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to see him start finally doing it. It's been a long time coming, long enough for a lot of people to forget that he's doing that, but I'm ready for it. I am. I'm ready for it. Other than that, this week, tomorrow night, we've got the Bucks versus, I think, let's see, is it Pac and Phoenix? Yeah, Pac and Phoenix.
Yeah, this is the cash-in or whatever from that win of that battle royal.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, I would love to see Pac and Phoenix walk away with some belts, because that would be the perfect way for Death Triangle to just blow the roof off of everything. It really would. I don't know, now personally, I don't know whether that would be the smartest booking option, since it's just a regular Wednesday night show. But I think it could be a possibly good idea. Odds of it happening? Very slim. Very small. Don't see it happening, in all honesty, because they want to make this new revived heel Bucks that much stronger looking, and also looking very, very belted alongside Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pull some classic Bucks angles with Impact, where they get it off fucking the machine guns. And they walk around with the Impact tag belts and the AEW
Machine Guns
tag
have lost it. Machine Guns have lost the Impact titles.
Oh, who's got them now? I missed it.
Finn Juice.
Oh, Finn Juice. I was thinking of the Motor City Machine Guns, not. I forgot it was Finn Juice. That's on me. That was a brain.
Yeah,
fart.
because they took them to Japan, I think.
Yeah. I would like to see them get those belts from Finn Juice. That way, you've got old school, like, height of their popularity Bucks, where they were just walking around loaded down with tag belts.
Mm-hmm.
From goddamn everywhere. It was great. If they resurrected the belt tights, that would be even better. But that was the main standout from last week. I don't know a whole lot about this week's card. I don't want to try to predict on it. I'll just
they had the house. They had the untelevised pay-per-view, or what they called a house show.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
The house always wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me take a look at that card real quick, so that way we can talk about that for a moment, because that was part of the big weekend.
Oh, while you're doing that, the final ratings came in from the Wednesday night deal, and NXT won.
Oh boy!
With 80,000 more than AEW that week.
80,000.
Yep. And so I believe, I don't know if I said it on here or off air, but so how many more will watch AEW now that NXT's on Tuesday? Well, I say 50,000 will probably go to Food Network to watch guys' grocery games, including this guy right here.
You never know, man. Let's see. From The House Always Wins, you had your TNT title shot battle royal. The Butcher won in 8 minutes and 48 seconds, going up against Will Hobbs, Lance Archer, Ricky Starks, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, Blade, Dustin Rhodes, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Tan, and Colt Cabana. So, the Butcher came out on top. Next, you had MJF, Dax, Cash, and Sean Spears going up against Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christopher Daniels, and Dante Martin. The Pinnacle won, as they should have.
Yeah.
Then you had Jade Cargill going up against Reika Tahaka. Cargill won in 3 minutes, so that was basically a squash. Then you had a Duval street fight. Cody Rhodes against Aaron Solo. Cody wins.
What was the time minus entrance? Because we know the entrance was 45 minutes.
15 minutes, 47 seconds.
So he did an hour, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Next, you had Best Friends and Orange Cassidy against the Hybrid 2 and Max Caster. Best Friends won. Not surprised. Then you had Eddie Kingston, which surprises me since he was still on a bum wheel last week because he hobbled out really fast when Mox got turned on. Going up against Cesar Bononi, and Kingston wins in 9 minutes and some change. I mean, I thought Kingston's ankle was broken. That was only 3 weeks ago? Maybe 4.
It could have, it's a house show. They were trying to help Bononi get.
Yeah. I mean, since it wasn't televised, it kind of makes sense. But, I mean, hell, if you're going to a house show, you've already watched TV, you know.
Maybe they're putting Bononi with Kingston so Kingston can work with him in front of a live crowd and get him more comfortable. I don't know.
That could be it. Then you had Hikaru Shida, Tai Conti, Red Velvet, and Ryo Mizunami against Nyla Rose, Bunny, Britt Baker, and Reba. And the team of the champ came out victorious.
I will say this was a very house show card.
Very much so. Then you had Pac, Phoenix, Pentagon, Matt Sydal, and Mike Sydal against Kenny, the Young Bucks, Michael Nakazawa, and Konosuke Takeshita. Death Triangle and Friends won. Yeah, I'm surprised about that. And then finally, you had a TNT Championship match, Darby Allin against The Butcher, because the match at the beginning was for a title shot. Well, Darby beat The Butcher.
Yeah. I don't agree with defending the TV title on a non-TV show, but whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it's a house show. Do what you're going to do. But, yeah, if it's a TV belt or a semi-TV belt, then...
But that was a lot of multi-person matches.
No shit. It felt like a New Japan opener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it totally did. That was a lot of fucking multi-man matches. Not terrible sounding. I wonder if it's going to pop up somewhere to watch later on. But, for what it was, it seems like it could have done fairly well.
I didn't really see anything coming out of that. Something they was really wanting to tease to see how it reacted to the crowd. So
I don't see any of that unless maybe it was just something to kind of get Aaron Solo some more face time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he's part of that big faction with QT now, so they got to get them looking good. Maybe also a little more push for the Pinnacle and also for Butcher. But that's about all I see there. Maybe to see a little bit about how Death Triangle and such would look if they were, coming out on top of the Company Boys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would probably be my my safest bet there. But
they did do the right thing by having Darby win the main event, so the crowd goes home happy.
That is true. I mean, I'm not going to knock Darby. I think he works really, really well. I just hope that they figure out some more stuff to do with it.
I like Darby too, but it's just sometimes his promos are not great.
It's like he tries too hard on some of them to come off kind of mysterious and edgy, and it just comes off contrived.
True.
Yeah, I get that vibe a lot as well. I do. I'm hoping they figure out something. He's got a lot of fucking potential, and damn near everyone you hear interviewed about him says the same thing. So I have high hopes. It's just a matter of seeing where it goes. But anything else, man?
I believe that's going to about round it up for the night.
I think so too. I mean, it's pretty light and everything. We stayed pretty heavy on the WWE shit this week because, I mean, fuck it. We coming off WrestleMania weekend. It was the first time WrestleMania weekend wasn't the drizzling shits. And, you know, I was fairly pleased. I need to go watch the Stand and Deliver so I can be fully enjoyed. But I think anyone that watched all 4 nights came away a winner in the grand scheme of things. I do.
They probably not been able to do their podcast duties like our other 2 partners who are still recovering from their WrestleMania hangovers.
I guarantee you, it's just it's that hellacious Mania over, and you know, John being our WWE man probably had it worst of anybody, and he deserves it because as much shit as I talk about WWE, god damn it, every once in a while. They make me eat my words. And they did. This time.
Partially.
No, I'm going to say they did. It's not like, you know, it's not like I fucking went to them like it was the finest steak on the planet. It was more like, oh, that's a pretty good sandwich. I'll finish this. I ate my words.
Was it like going to Quincy's?
Regular butter or cinnamon butter?
It's good as regular butter.
Yeah, I'd give it a regular butter Quincy's rolled basket, not the cinnamon butter.
I don't remember them having cinnamon, but I always had the honey butter.
Same thing. The sweetened butter. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put you say WrestleMania was a really good sirloin. We're going to go talk about steak.
Yeah. It was a top sirloin, not a New York strip and or ribeye or a London broil, maybe a tomahawk. It wasn't one of those. It was good top sirloin, properly cooked, only a little salt and pepper, you know?
Yep.
Proper seasoning.
And not from Applebee's.
Definitely not from fucking Applebee's. To continue the classic post-to-post food ramblings. If you're in the greater Hickory, Charlotte area in North Carolina, just go ahead, drive over to Newton, and hit the Blue Moon Cafe. Done.
Oh, Newton. Is it in downtown Newton, or is it just...
Yeah, right in the middle of Newton proper. Old Newton, right in the middle.
Okay. Off of 16?
Yeah, right off.
Okay.
Right, like the town hall right in the middle of town?
Yeah.
That stoplight right there, it's on your right.
I'm going to tell you, people, Hickory's got some good little hidden gems in it, that little area. Yep. Well, folks, thank you all for coming to see us today on the old podcast network, Post to Post. I am Weatherman, and for Will, and for our 2 departed friends who couldn't be with us today.
Departed. That makes them sound dead. They're not dead. Our 2, yeah, they're not dead. Our 2 indisposed amigos.
Our 2 indisposed amigos, Grayson and Drummer John. Till next time, folks, take care of yourself and each other.
Oh, wasn't that nice? Let's also not forget.
That was my Jerry Springer ending.
It really was. It was a total Springer ending. But let's not forget the biggest thanks of them all. Thanks to Falcon, the boys at And Polar and 20th Century Media for making us sound good and, you know, putting up with our incredibly long sidebars on food. Please leave a little bit on there.
But we're teaching them something. They're learning.
Yeah.
Falcon's so young, he don't even remember Quincy's.
I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Yeah. Think about it.
No, you're making it sound like I earned all this gray hair. But yeah, thanks to those guys again every week, making us sound good. Thank you to everyone listening, and thank you to the people that listened to last week's show. It was definitely our highest views yet, outpacing every other show in its first week of views. Thank you. And please give us a listen anywhere you can. And next week, we hope to be back to full power. Grayson should have all of his Windows updates reinstalled because he was in the middle of doing that. And you know how if you ever have to install Windows on a computer, you know it takes the ass end forever. And so that's what he's been doing all evening. So that's why he's tied up. John, just taking care of business on his end. It is what it is. Hope to have him back next week. Everything should be good as gold, gentlemen.
And to all our friends out there, I just want to say, I like you just the way you are.
I like it. I'm for that. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye, friends.